In my video about the literacy kit, I mentioned a facilitator quite a bit. Saying, well, a facilitator, well, what does that look like? Well, it really depends on the program model, and there are different program models that you can choose depending on who you are and the audience that you have. So I'm going to talk about really, it's really 2 to 3 different program models depending on how you want to see them. The first one is within a church. Okay, a church decides we want literacy and we want it to be an outreach. Well, there's 2 different variations of this. We have one model where somebody's doing an outreach event, Vacation Bible School, for example, or just a Saturday gathering where they say, hey kids, come on into church, or youth, come on into church for something fun, something educational, whatever it is. And then what you do is a short assessment and assess them on literacy. It takes 10 minutes within the whole event. And then you gather their names and you gather a way to contact them, then you give them all to the church. Then the church contacts them and says, hey, would you like to come back in and follow up for literacy? Now the church can do all kinds of things, and when they do that, they could do it in the evening, they could do it during Sunday school, they can do it on follow-up Saturdays, whatever they want to do. But then the second model within that is in a church. When do you do that? Well, you could do it in an evening or you could do it in Sunday school. It all depends. So there's kind of 2 models in there, but they all go toward the same outcome, is get people inside the church to come access these materials for literacy. Well, what does this look like? There's again 2 ways to do that. You could have a classroom that says, we're going to spend some time reading. Everybody grab a book. And so then they spend some time reading in the book that their level is assigned them to. And then they grab those books and then do little literature circles where people gather together at that level. And then they talk about what they read. And you provide questions. And then you do a whole group to share that. And then you say, what lessons can we learn? And then you do something fun as a celebration of that. Short, easy, simple, fun and encouraging, also bonding for the group. Well, let's say you don't have time for that. What does another program model look like? It could be this simple. Come to my church for Sunday school. And the Sunday school teacher, after they do their lesson, anybody who's in the literacy program can come up to them, talk about their book, exchange their book, answer some comprehension questions. It takes 5 minutes. And as you do that, you are moving people along in literacy and you're getting them engaged in church. Well, there's other programs that are much more adult that are out there. Then they may or may not come to a Sunday school. They may also be enrolled in a seminary, and so seminary programs is another thing that we've seen. I've also seen prison programs. Well, what does that look like? This becomes much more of a one-on-one facilitation. Well, what you have to do is you actually have to teach them how to use the material. So your initial work is in the front. Here's the kit, here's the supplemental pack of reading materials if you have one, and from those things, how can the individual walk through them over time? And we're going to meet at a certain designated amount of time in a certain place, and we're going to do that maybe every 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks. And you set aside a time to go through the comprehension of what they were supposed to read and see if they've done it. Another variation of that is a librarian who actually checks books in, checks books out, whether supplemental kit or whether literacy kit, and then they ask them the comprehension as they do that, if you have a facility to do that. I will talk about the prison model a little bit. That's one-on-one. This is a person who's teaching another person how to use the kit, and then that person teaches other people inside the prison. And so the kit has to become available. The other thing I should talk about is the digital versus print. The digital materials are all online. If someone has a phone or a tablet or a computer, they can read these materials online, and you want to do that. The others who do not have that, you want to have printed materials, but you do not want to give these kits away to everybody. They're too expensive to print. So what you do is, let's say you have 100 children that come in and you assess them all on literacy. What you find is that all of these levels are divided up, okay, and you have 5 different levels of literacy. The level that has the most number of students, that's how many kits you need to print. So for example, if 20 is the highest number of level 3, then you print no more than 20 sets, because no group of individuals will be heavier than that currently initially assessed group. And by the way, if they have to wait a little bit for a book because it's checked out or it's circulating, that's not a bad thing. That shows you that they really want to do something. So substituting it or showing them the online system or doing something else is a way to do that. So keeping materials in mind is important, but another element of this is tracking. How do you track the students? Well, this is a simple worksheet that you can find online on the website with all the materials that basically says what is the name of the person, okay, what level are they at, what are they reading, and are they comprehending it? Those are the 4 things that should be tracked and monitored over time. Are they moving forward is really the question that you want to answer. And then the last thing is, when do they exit? They exit when you see them entering those last stages. Are they reading scripture well? Are they answering comprehension question for scripture? Are they really going online and taking an Our Daily Bread University course? And are they answering questions from that course? If they can do that, they're at a great level. You've done a good job, and they are able to be exited for that. What we're trying to do is design minimal amount of time for a facilitator and maximum amount of time for the learner. A learner, in order to read, has to be motivated. Okay, and you will lose some unmotivated learners. It's okay. Okay, because the time investment is low on your end of facilitation, and I know it needs to be that, because the people who are doing good work, and especially the people who are doing godly work, they're already busy and hard to find. And so we want to be sensitive to saying, set up a system in your church or seminary or prison or wherever you are, and do it with the facilitation in mind of what's really possible for those who can interact. There's also a way to do gatherings for this, and that's your joy. Some groups, some churches say, we're not going to check books in, check books out, but we're going to do a meeting every 4 weeks and have a fun event where we can also disciple them a little bit more. However this best fits with you, we want to encourage you, and we want to encourage you to share that with us so we come up with more ideas and ways to use this and to share them around the world. Thank you. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for going through them all. We hope it's helpful. If not, please ask questions to the person who brought this program to you, or go to the website and look for a way to contact us, and we will get back to you with any answers that you need for this program. Thank you, and we'll be praying for you around the world.